So there's good position groups in football, and there's great position groups in football. Then there's that rare collective of players when you line up across the line of scrimmage from, you start to think we might be in trouble. I'm talking secondaries that make a quarterback scared to throw the ball. Receiving cores where doubling one guy just meant the other guy was going to have a field day. Defensive fronts that could wreck a game without even sending the blitz. So today, we're looking all throughout NFL history, and even at one group playing right now, to uncover some of the most terrifying position groups football has ever seen. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the social club where you know everybody's got a voice. I'm your host, Serge, and you've tuned into another installment of this month's football cookout, where every day we're bringing you more long-form content as we count down to the NFL kickoff. While we're here, let's take care of the housekeeping items too, guys. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button down below. Go follow on all the social media platforms, and go ahead and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a bit of anything we got coming this month for you, because we still got quite some time until we kick off the season.
Real quick, guys, let's talk about the Discord for a second. If you've been rocking with our YouTube channel, but still haven't joined our Discord, you are missing out. Because here's the thing, we work very hard to give you guys great videos, but at most, we're giving you at least one video a day. But when you join the Discord, you have access to us 24/7, 365 days a year. If you have a bold prediction that is so unhinged, so crazy that you wouldn't dare put it on a YouTube comment, join our Discord and post it there, because this is a safe space and we're good people. But trust me, whatever you guys say in the Discord is probably not the wildest thing that's ever been said in that Discord. Because like our motto says, everyone has a voice. So we invite everyone to the table. So here's the move. In the link below this video, or in the bio, or in our Instagram story, click the link to join our Discord, and then I want you to immediately say your craziest, most insane hot take that you could think of, and then we let the conversation begin. Other than that, please enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you guys in the Discord.
So I divided these guys into 4 categories, ultimately which 3 made the cut for each one, just to show the scale of terror that I'm really talking about. Today we're starting in the place that quarterbacks absolutely hate to look, the airspace. We're kicking this off with the Legion of Boom. It feels like it's only right. The 2013 Seattle Seahawks were insane. Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, 3 names that basically became synonymous with defensive football in the 2010s era. But if there's one game you need to define the Legion of Boom, it's Super Bowl 48. Denver entered that game with legendary Peyton Manning and the highest scoring offense in NFL history. Seattle then held them to 8 points. Not only did Seattle beat Denver 43-8, but the NFL's stingiest defense completely dismantled what was supposed to be an unstoppable offense. Sherman was a guy who could eliminate one side of the field himself. Earl Thomas had a ridiculous range behind him, and Cam Chancellor, that's not a man who was trying to break up passes. That man was trying to make receivers reconsider their career choices. There have been plenty of great secondaries, but very few became an entire identity like the Legion of Boom. But Seattle isn't walking away from this conversation uncontested, because just a few years later, we got the no-fly zone, ironically, straight out of Denver. Aqib Talib, Chris Harris Jr., TJ Ward, Darian Stewart, Bradley Roby, and what made Denver terrifying was what that secondary allowed everybody else to do. Those corners could survive in man coverage, which meant Wade Phillips could send pressure from everywhere. Denver finished first that year in total defense in the NFL and produced an astonishing 52 sacks on the season. When it mattered most, they went through Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, and then even Cam Newton on the way to winning Super Bowl 50. And this is going to be my first spark note where I want to see y'all in the comments. One game, one secondary. Are you choosing the Legion of Boom, or are you grabbing the no-fly zone? Now, Seattle intimidated you and Denver just suffocated you. The 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers just took the ball away. Ron D. Barber, Brian Kelly, John Lynch, Dexter Jackson. That 2002 Buccaneers defense intercepted 31 passes throughout the entire season. Then they got to the Super Bowl and went up against league MVP Rich Gannon, and he threw 5 interceptions. 3 of those actually went to the apartments. For those who don't know what that means they were pick sixes. They were touchdowns, okay? They scored touchdowns on them. Dexter Jackson grabbed 2 of those himself, and he was named the Super Bowl MVP. Think about that. The Buccaneers' defensive backs were basically scoring enough points to win the Super Bowl themselves. And that's why Tampa gets the final spot in the airspace for me. You throw at Seattle, you might get your receiver killed. Throw at Denver, there might not be anybody open. You throw that ball at Tampa Bay, that might not be your ball anymore. Now let's flip sides to the track team. because sometimes the terrifying ones are the guys the secondary has to cover. And we're gonna kick this off with what I consider the ultimate example. The 1998 Minnesota Vikings, also known as 3D. Imagine already having Cris Carter in his prime, one of the best receivers to touch football, and then you draft this skinny rookie out of Marshall named Randy Moss. Ring a bell? Moss didn't ease his way into the NFL, he kicked the damn door down. His rookie season? 69 catches, 1,300 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 10 of those traveled at least 40 yards. But remember, Cris Carter was standing on the other side, with Jake Reed giving Minnesota another legitimate weapon. The Vikings went 15-1 and set what was then the NFL record for points scored in the season. You couldn't just roll your entire defense to cover Randy Moss. Congratulations, now Cris Carter's in single coverage. Have fun with it. And apparently, Randy Moss figured that terrorizing one generation of defensive backs just wasn't enough. Because then we moved to the 2007 New England Patriots. Yes, I'm talking 9 years later, he did it again. Except this time his quarterback was Tom Brady. The 2007 Patriots paired Moss with Wes Welker, creating one of the nastiest coverage dilemmas imaginable. Moss finished with almost 1,500 yards receiving that season, and a career high at 23 receiving touchdowns. Meanwhile, Welker's catching 112 passes on the season. So you tell me what's the answer. Keep two safeties high because you're terrified of Moss? Welker destroys you underneath. Bring somebody down to help Welker? Now Randy Moss is running smoothly, quickly, vertically past your safety. New England went 16-0 in the regular season because almost nobody found an answer. And yes, Randy Moss appeared twice on the list. I'm comfortable with that. But if we're talking about an explosive offense, we can't do this without the homegrown St. Louis Rams, baby. I'm talking the 1999 to 2001 St. Louis Rams, not the Rams all the years after that. We ain't got to get into that today. But for crying out loud, they gave us the greatest show on turf. Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Azahir Hakeem, and while he technically isn't a receiver, Marshall Faulk catching passes out the backfield just wasn't fair. This wasn't one magical season they had either. The Rams scored more than 500 points 3 consecutive years. In 2000 alone, Terry Holt had 1,600 receiving yards. Hell, Isaac Bruce had 1,400. Marshall Faulk had 800 as a running back. That's why they weren't just a great offense, they became the greatest show on turf. There was speed everywhere, and God forbid you make a mistake because somebody's going for 70 yards. But enough about catching passes. Let's talk about the guys who are to make sure the quarterback never throws one. And we're taking this way back for this one. But the 1969 Minnesota Vikings, also known as the Purple People Eaters. I'm talking well before modern day pass rush rotations. Minnesota had 4 dudes who had one mission: meet at the quarterback. And that they did. Alan Page, Carl Eller, Jim Marshall, Gary Larson. And here's a stat line to tell you everything you need to know. In 1969, all 4 of them made the Pro Bowl. The Vikings only allowed 133 points that entire regular season. This was essentially the original supergroup of a defensive line. 4 guys, 1 destination, at the quarterback. Now this next group has one of the greatest receipts in NFL history. Your 2007 New York Giants. Michael Strahan, Osai Umenyiora, Justin Tuck, Fred Robbins. The Giants recorded 53 sacks on the regular season that year. But that's not why they're here. They're here because New England entered Super Bowl 42 18-0. Between Tom Brady, Randy Moss, and Wes Welker, the same terrifying offense we just talked about, this defensive line beat the hell out of them. 5 sacks, consistent pressure, just 14 points allowed for this powerhouse of an offense I just riddled off. The greatest offense of that era was 1 win away from immortality, and this defensive line ruined the whole thing. There might be more talented fronts historically, but there's very few can say that we killed 19-0. And now for the only group on this list whose story hasn't been written yet. The 2026 Los Angeles Rams already had Byron Young, Brandon Fisk, and Kobe Turner. Young led the team with 12 sacks last season. So naturally, Los Angeles looked at that defensive front and said, what are we missing? Unfortunately for the rest of us, that turns out to be Myles Garrett. The Rams acquired Garrett this offseason after he broke the NFL single-season sack record, dropping the reigning Defensive Player of the Year into an already dangerous defensive front. And let's not tiptoe around the fact that Aaron Donald was in practice last week training with him. There's nothing that's set in stone just yet, but I'm just saying, guys, we should all be saying prayers and kumbayas. Sure, we can't put their accomplishments next to the Purple People Eaters or the 07 Giants D-line just yet, but that's what makes them interesting. We're looking at this group before we know the ending. And if this thing works out the way it looks on paper, God forbid another edition, I'm afraid quarterbacks everywhere need to tuck their tail. So now I want to know, which group would terrify you the most? Having to catch a crosser route with Cam Chancellor coming downhill? Having to block Myles Garrett for 4 quarters straight? Watching Randy Moss line up across from you at corner? Or seeing Ray Lewis line up across the field from you knowing damn well you're about to get handed off the ball? More importantly, who did I leave out? Let me know below, because if there's enough smoke in the comments, we might have to run this one back. But until next time, guys, it's been well.